Maybe we could take a look together this morning at a thing called belief. Belief is self destructive. When you, I keep getting little messages here. When you believe something, it blocks your intelligence, and all you're left with is thought invented belief, which is the destruction of yourself, given it blinds you to the truth. So if you care to discover reality, what reality is, then perhaps consider negating every belief that you hold. That is a monumental task, perhaps, to begin with, because our entire life has been based on belief, almost from not from the day we're born, but from the first 3 or 4 years of our life. We enter the domain or the world of belief. For many, it starts with Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy or the Sky Fairy, or snakes can talk and virgins can have water walking winemakers and all sorts of wild stories, which, if accepted, there is a secondary happening or consequence, if you will. The consequence of accepting belief into your life is then you're susceptible to every belief somebody presents to you. You could believe that, who knows, there's no you. There's a nutcase kind of religion going around that tells us there's no you, there's no me, there's no anybody. We're all fictions or images. Well, we are in a very real way. Once we accept belief into our lives, we become secondary to reality. Reality is creation, intelligence, and truth. The dream world is knowledge, thought, and belief, with belief being the entry point to the trap called knowledge and thought. Once you enter the domain of belief, then thought and knowledge are your directors. Actually, they do your thinking for you, all the while you thinking that you are thinking, when actually thinking is thinking you. Clear? Maybe clear as a mud, right? Clear as mud. So the entry point then to reality is truth. In order to discover the entry point to reality, which is creation, intelligence, and truth, you need to negate your beliefs, all of them. Even even the belief that you know everything. That's got to go too. As a matter of fact, it's got to go so completely that you need to realize, you need to accept, you need to see, you need to discover that you were a liar. Your whole life has been a lie because you have been trapped in the world that your parents bequeathed you. Is there such a word as bequeathed? Left for you, kind of forced you into. So you could say to begin with that it's your parents' fault that you're a liar. However, they can then say it's their parents' fault that they're a liar because this has been going on, this passing on of the dream world has been going on for thousands of years. Ever since, and as I've said before, in that thing called the Bible, they say we ate the fruit of knowledge, which took us out of the Garden of Eden, which is what I'm saying is creation, intelligence, and truth. So being trapped in knowledge, thought, and belief requires the first thing is the requirement of negating every belief that we have. Zen, Christianity, Muslimism, the Jewish people are the best people in the world because they're God's favorite. Even God belief. The greatest and most vile, violent belief on our planet is God belief. Now, please note, for you God believers, Christians, and even you evangelicals, I'm talking about God belief, not God. If there's a God, then there's a God. If there's not a God, there's not a God. Belief in either side doesn't make any difference. The atheist can believe for millions of years that there isn't a God, and the religious person can believe for millions of years that there is a God. But belief will do nothing to the truth of, is there a God? Or is there not a God? So I'm talking about here God belief. Once you fall for God belief, then you can get caught up with the televangelists who are multi-million. What's that? Osteen or Jeff somebody lives in a $10.4 million house, drives or what do you call it when you're on? Anyway, has a $11 million yacht, all because he has God believers who follow him. And he says, if you give me millions, you will get millions because I'm going to give it to God. But guess what? He doesn't give it to God. He gives it to Mrs. Olstein, if there is one. I don't even know if he's married. I suppose he is. So getting back to the truth of this conversation, which is you are trapped in thought. And thought is the inventor of belief. And once belief is believed, you're done for. The thinking then thinks you. So if you have any consideration that what I'm saying might have a tad bit, just a little bit of truth to it, or the other side of it, this nutcase, idiot, stupid, well, you'd be right if you called me stupid because I am stupid, person is just here spewing a bunch of nonsense. If you have any inclination that perhaps you're stuck in belief, then take a look at the things that you believe. If you believe anything, you're a robot or a robotic person. Because when you are stuck in belief, intelligence is gone. Intelligence cannot fight. Intelligence cannot argue. Intelligence would never own a gun. Intelligence would never be religious or have God belief. It wouldn't fight. It wouldn't rape women. It wouldn't even elect a guy who tells you that he grabs women between the legs. Intelligence has no force. It has no violence. Belief, thought, and knowledge is filled. The basics of it is a dream world. That's where wars, killings, maims, rapings, all of the things that we see in our world live. So if you ever consider this possibility, that you care to discover what taking care of, you could call it love, but there's no love on planet Earth, actually is, then look at the fact that we don't care about ourselves. We do not love ourselves. We don't care about our children. We do not love our children. If we cared about, loved, if you have to use that silly word, ourself, or we cared about, loved, if you have to use that silly word, ourself and our children, we would prepare the planet for us and our children. That's what creation, intelligence, and truth would do. Knowledge, thought, and belief would prepare you, your children, for the planet. The exact opposite of what actual, if you have to use that word, love, is. To be 100% caring of yourself means that you care for yourself, your offspring, and planet Earth. So take a look. Do you believe anything? If you believe something, you're stupid. You're ignorant. Okay, we have to get past those egotistical things. If even being called stupid and ignorant, if that bothers you, you're stuck in belief. Because the greatest discovery we can make is our own stupidity. The only way we're going to improve, create a new world, is to discover that we are stupid, to discover that we are ignorant, and then to discover each place where the ignorance and stupidity is. And from that, a world that would never go to war, would never rape a woman, wouldn't kill children, wouldn't throw them in cages to prove their whatever that is, teach their children, their parents, a lesson. None of that will happen in the world of creation, intelligence, and truth. That can only happen in the world of knowledge, thought, and belief. The beginning point is to drop every belief you have. Every one of them, all of them, 100%. A perfect experience of living outside of belief to each of you. Thank you if you've listened this long. Damn, this is a long one.